Mr. and Mrs. North and South American, all ships at sea, let's go to press.
Here we go.
Here now from the Crystal Cruises mobile studio with all of today's cruise and travel news and a bit of commentary. It's the guru on the seas himself, Tom Drake.
It is indeed himself, and he's back at it on this Tuesday morning, Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. I am the podcaster. You people out there, you're the podcastees. You didn't know that, and that is the Drake. That is the official mascot of this Tuesday train wreck. That's what we're going to call this, baby. This is the social media, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and soon-to-be Instagram portion of this podcast. There are two podcasts, almost simultaneous. If you take 2 hours in between, maybe three. I do a audio-only podcast at 6:30 in the morning. It's published by 8 a.m. every day. You can listen to that in the car. You can listen to that in the garage. You can listen to that in the toilet. I don't care what you do. That has been around for 1,010 episodes. Can you imagine? And this is the social media podcast. This is it's like everyone else's podcast where you have cameras and lights and annoying things to deal with, except I don't have guests. I don't interview people. Welcome to the podcast. It's different. It is the news of the cruise and travel industry, the hotels, car rentals, cruise lines, airlines, anything related to hospitality and whatever else I feel like talking about. I have a team of readers, excellent readers, Brooks and Reese and Odds and Ends and other people, and they read the stories in 75 seconds, and then I comment about the story, and it's become very popular, at least on the audio portion. Now we're trying something different because I was told if I want to expose myself legally, I would have to get my tuchus out into social media. So that's what we're doing here. So welcome to the podcast. For the audio listeners, there has been some confusion about the other podcasts. I did switch platforms. I was with Podbean. Now I'm back with the Podcast Playground. It'll work itself out in a couple of days, and you can find me somewhere. Google Tom Drake's Daily Cruise and Travel News Podcast, and I'll show up. I should make this announcement, a very special announcement. Tomorrow I will videotape a Zoom. Oh, I'll have people I'm talking to. Who? A bunch of knuckleheads. Jackie Marlin, John Ferrantino, Richie Minervini, and my lovely wife, Dottie. We're all part of the America's Funniest Cruise or the Long Island Comedy Cruise Reunion, whichever one you want to use. It happens February 14th, sails 7 days round trip from Fort Lauderdale, and it is remembering where comedy began in Long Island. The East Side Comedy Club was the home of Eddie Murphy at the age of 17, Kevin James, John Ferrantino, Ray Romano, Seinfeld worked out there, Rosie O'Donnell. My pal David Say used to be out there, and Rosie O'Donnell would babysit his little children. This is history. There's also going to be 4 different stand-up shows on this cruise, a paranormal presentation. So tomorrow I'll tape it, and probably on Thursday it'll be a special edition of the Daily Cruise and Travel News Podcast, and you'll be able to see us and listen to the stories, and hopefully come and join what we hope will be a couple hundred people on this cruise next February 14th. I learned a lesson. Do not read the comments in social media. I don't have time to read them, and I stumbled on some comments on one of my Facebook pages, the Best of These Tours Facebook page, and you people are quite venomous. I'm really, what did I do to aggravate you? And then I was on, excuse me while I get rid of that annoying sound, I was on Apple, and I saw comments going back a while, back when I was probably podcast number 100. Somebody wrote that I just yammer, too much yammering. Well, who the hell says yammering? I looked it up in chat AI, and they said somebody from the Midwest who couldn't get his tractor started and he's having a bad day. That's someone that yammers. And there were other words I can't even repeat on this podcast, but I guess I appreciate people carrying one with the other. It's a shame most of the time they're not really nice people. My life, you know what? We're not going to cover that much in this social media podcast. Normally on the audio podcast, I talk about what I did yesterday. I stole that idea from one of the funniest men on the planet, Regis Philbin, the Regis and Kathy Lee show. Every morning at 9 o'clock, he would walk in with 3 newspapers and talk about what he did the night before and make it funny. And it is interesting to my audio people. I don't know if it's going to be interesting to my social media people, so we're just going to skip it. I talk about the Yankees sometimes because I like to talk about baseball. We're probably not going to do much of that. This one is going to be geared towards the news and nothing but the news. And then, of course, my expert commentary. Now, let me explain that. I have been a comedian, stand-up comedian, professional stand-up comedian for over 30 years on cruise ships, every major cruise line with the exception of who have not, Seabourn. Everyone else I've performed on. And I've traveled all over the world 30 times. I've been in Alaska for 7 or 8 summers, in Europe for summers. I understand the business from this side of it, our side, from the consumer side and being the comedian side. What I talk about in the cruise industry is what they're getting wrong on the shore side. The people that run cruise lines, and they change quite regularly. I explain why they got it wrong. I'll talk about the cruise industry, the car rental, all of that. And it comes from years of experience. That's why I am called the Guru of the Seas. Well, that's just yanking your chain, basically. So this is how it works. I felt obligated and constipated to explain that to you. Now, my team of readers, oh, by the way, this is very important. Very important. I always ask every day for people to say a prayer for the men and women, the boys and girls of the military, because no matter how you feel about the current state of affairs, no matter what you think about decisions that were made, this is most important. Those young men and women and all the people that are lifers, they get dressed in their camos every day, polish their weapons, and get ready. They get ready because it's out there. Not everybody likes our country, if you haven't picked up on that. So say a prayer for the boys and girls and the men of the military. Now, one of my readers, he's in charge of crime, corruption, and seismic events. His name is Brooks, and here he is.
Good morning, Guru. Happy Tuesday. Boss, this just might be another hide in the garage and wear a helmet story. For cruise travelers sailing from Florida, the Bahamas remains one of the most popular destinations. But the U.S. State Department has updated its travel advisory, reminding visitors to stay alert. The advisory remains at level 2. Exercise increased caution, but officials now place greater emphasis on crime. Violent crimes, including armed robbery, burglary, and sexual assault, can occur anywhere in the Bahamas, with the highest concerns in Nassau and Freeport. Cruise passengers are specifically urged to avoid the over-the-hill area of Nassau, just south of Shirley Street, where gang violence has been reported. That neighborhood is only a couple of blocks from the cruise terminal. The advisory also continues to warn about jet ski and watercraft rentals, beach safety, and the Bahamas' strict weapons and ammunition laws. Finally, with hurricane season underway, travelers should be prepared for possible itinerary changes, port cancellations, or delays if tropical storms develop. Stay aware, use common sense, and enjoy your cruise safely.
Thank you, Brooks. And Brooks, he's reading for me what I would normally read and mess it up. But let's start. This is the part of the podcast that I think has some merit. I'll explain to you what they're talking about. Number one, telling people about a hurricane. If you're that stupid and you don't know the hurricane season is from, my wife should be your October, whenever it starts. I don't know what it is. I don't pay attention, even though I live right in the middle of it. Here's the reality. If you don't know, I think you should stay in your garage, wear a helmet, and wait for the world to come to an end. I made that up. That's my saying. People are stealing it. Hide in the garage and wear a helmet. That means you don't know your ass from your elbow. If you can't figure this out, look it up. Google it. Go to chat. When is hurricane season? Don't worry about it. And you're going on a cruise, you might have some fun. You might not. You might not like rough waters. The other part of this, it's just, I say this with all love and affection. The American people are getting dumber by the day. This is nothing new. Okay, these islands have always had crime. They've always had gang activity. They've always had drug activity. Just stay the hell out of that area. That's all you have to do. Stay in the safe tourist areas. Now, if you tell me that on in Nassau, when you get off the ship, when there's 37 kiosks now, that they have a problem with crime there, that people are getting robbed or mugged right there, they're getting mugged, but it's only by those broads trying to sell you braiding. You want your hair braided? You want your hair braided? And I apologize for saying the word broad. My wife hates when I use that word, but I'm from New Jersey. Those are words you hear in New Jersey. Broad, federal indictment, triple homicide. Those are common words, you know. My point is, they put this out, the State Department, because they have to. They have to justify who they are and what they do. So that's why they put it out. But don't worry. Don't. You can go to these islands. You can't live your life worried. You have to get out and live life, but you don't want to be in the garage with a helmet on. Get out there and do it. Now, one thing I forgot to mention early on was about why I started this. There's a website, cruiseradio.net. They do a very nice job. Every day, I forget his name, he does a 6-minute video where he describes exactly, well, he shows some video and tells you the stories, but without any commentary. It's quick and easy, and I would watch it, and I'd go, all right. Well, but then I would say, he's wrong. Well, he's not wrong. The story's wrong. I would listen to this and go, that's not right, but I didn't have a way to correct the situation. So I corrected. Now, there are times, people send me stories all the time. I appreciate that. I get links to stories. And most of them make the cut because my audio listeners are very intelligent people and they know how I think and what I want. But then I get others like, there's a story out now about water in a room on Royal Caribbean. And I'm like, does anybody care? That is something that Cruise Radio covered. Now, if I cover it, I use someone else to tell you the story. And here's the story. Maybe with this voice, it could be remotely interesting.
Water is one thing cruise passengers expect to see plenty of during their vacation, but perhaps not falling through the ceiling of their cabin. A viral video from Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas shows water dramatically flooding an interior stateroom. Passenger Dominic Arcangelo shared the footage after the cabin next to his began filling with water. He said surrounding rooms and part of the hallway were also affected. The incident occurred during an 8-night Eastern Caribbean cruise that departed Fort Lauderdale on July 25th. The ship is scheduled to return on August 2nd. Royal Caribbean had not publicly identified the cause of the leak. The ship appears to have continued its itinerary without any reported delays.
Don't you love that voice? AI, artificial intelligence, has brought so much to the table. That's a terrible cliche. That voice, he's an English fellow, and he could pretty much tell you, I'm seriously constipated, but I'm smiling anyway. And you would go, oh, that's simply fabulous. Who cares about water in the room? Now, I messed this up on the earlier podcast. I misunderstood this statement. Dominic Arcangelo was not the person with the wet room. He was the person next to the wet room. And he was the person what took video because one of those people with a phone that know how to take a video and then put it up. There are websites in this business called Cruise Hive and Cruise Fever. I call them the rat blog because they have these kind of stories. This was actually in AOL. And it's no big deal. It happens all the time in the cruise industry. Allure of the Seas is not that old, but pipes break. People clog them up. If you don't know, it's a vacuum system on ships, and people stick everything except their 10-year-old into the toilet. So it happens. This case, a pipe broke. It filled it with water. Now, it wasn't Dominic, but Dominic's neighbor probably ended up with a good deal. He probably got moved to a better room. He's in an inside cabin, which I tell people on the ship is a tomb with a toilet. You shut the door, you turn off the lights, I'm dead. So he's going to get a better room. Now, he might have actually knew that and popped the pipe himself. Come on, his name is Dominic. Anything could happen. You know what I mean? That's what happens. I feel like this is an instructional video on what to do and what not to do. Now, I also get stories all the time, and I look at it. Who cares? This is one I didn't have anybody record a voice because who cares? It has to do with the Douro River. You have no idea where it is. The Douro, D-O-U-R-O. It's in Portugal, and I guess it's a popular destination for river boats or river cruises. And the authorities in Douro said, we closing the Douro. There's no one else allowed. It is August, and no other ships are allowed to come in there now because it's been busy and they're tired. And they need to put their feet up and have a cup of espresso and consider things because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They had to shut the port down. No other riverboats are allowed to go there. They're going to have to adjust their itineraries. And every time this comes up, I shake my head because I live in Central Florida, Orlando, Florida. I live outside of Orlando. And 70 million people come to Florida every year. I'm sorry, 70 million people come to Orlando every year, into that airport, out of that airport. I see them all the time with all the mutants and the rugrats and those little kids. And somehow we're able to handle that here in Orlando, but they can't handle a few riverboats in Douro. So they've closed the Douro. I've covered this so much about European ports call that they beg for the business. Then when they get the business, they realize we have to work for the business. Let's not go there. Now, I do have another great voice, the backbone, the mainstay, the voice. I'll find the words. Come on, it's early. I'll find the words. Her name is Reese. She covers all the cruise and travel news. She reads it. I comment on it. and I can't see squat today. Here's Reese.
Good morning, Guru.
Hey, babe.
Happy Tuesday.
Thanks.
4 days to go. Now that you're called the Wegovy Walker in the neighborhood.
It's me.
This story might resonate. For decades, the travel industry sold vacations as an escape from everyday life. But younger travelers want something more. They want to come home better than when they left. Millennials and Gen Z now drive more than 40% of America's $500 billion wellness market, despite making up just over a third of the population. They're investing in experiences that improve their health, reduce stress, and boost their overall well-being. That presents a major opportunity for the travel industry. Instead of focusing only on destinations, travel companies can focus on transformation. Before a trip, they can offer fitness, sleep, and nutrition programs to build excitement. During the vacation, they can add wellness experiences like guided hikes, fitness classes, healthier dining, and sleep-focused accommodations. After guests return home, they can continue the relationship with wellness content and healthy lifestyle resources. Industry experts say the future of travel isn't just about where people go. It's about how they feel when they come back. Companies that help guests return healthier, happier, and more energized could build stronger customer loyalty and gain a significant competitive edge.
You can see behind me two logos. One is Best at Sea Tours. The other one is Crystal Cruises. Best at Sea Tours is the travel company that my wife and I own. We host cruises on luxury cruise lines and also on other cruise lines for different reasons. That would be the Long Island Comedy Reunion Cruise. And we have one next year in November of 2027 from Lisbon to Fort Lauderdale on the Crystal Symphony. It is a wellness cruise. It is loaded with wellness people. There is a Pilates instructor, a nutritionist. Oh, there's half a dozen people all about, and there's only 600 guests on the ship. There's like one person for every 90 to show you how to come home feeling healthier. I applaud every cruise line that tries this. I will say nobody cares. No one cares. People go on a cruise because of it's food, service, itinerary. Flip it any way you want. Most of the time, as they get older, it's itinerary. They're going down the list, the bucket list. They haven't been here. They haven't been there. I have friends that they sail exclusively on Oceania unless it's another cruise line is going somewhere where they haven't been yet. And they'll make that move. They might not be happy. They love Oceania, but they're going to do it. It's food, service, itinerary, service, and food. Because sometimes the itinerary trumps everything. They know, use that word, they know the food and service is not going to be as good, but it's going where they want to go. I have not met anybody that said, I can't wait to go on this cruise. I intend to eat right and work out and what? No, my buddy Len says, no, I go on a ship to eat. I go on. I'll take care of that wellness stuff before I get there and when I get home. But when I get on a ship, the hell with that. I'm on this ship because it's known for the food. What am I, not going to eat it? I know they have vegan and plant food and everything else. And I'm saying something contrary to our partner in crime here with, I shouldn't use the word crime, with Crystal. Hey, nobody cares. I'm sorry. They come on. Oh, now I tell you the truth. I was 17 years as the comedian on Oceania. And the people on Oceania, they are in the gym every day. They're on the walking track because they want to live longer, because they're worried they're going to die. That's what this, they're 80 years old out there schlepping in the wind. Give me a break. You're on vacation. Let's try another story. One that's a little more upbeat.
Guru, here is one way to fill a cruise ship.
What's that?
Margaritaville at Sea just got 2 baseball stadiums worth of new guests thanks to musician Zach Brown. At Brown's sold-out concert at Boston's Fenway Park on Sunday, the Grammy Award-winning artist announced that every audience member would receive a free cruise for 2. The gift to the 37,000-plus concert-goers is valued at more than $40 million, according to the cruise line. Margaritaville at Sea called it the largest audience gifting in live music history. Brown has connections to both the cruise line and Margaritaville's founder, the late Jimmy Buffett. The musician collaborated with Margaritaville at Sea to design a music venue for its upcoming ship, the Beachcomber. The venue will be called Same Boat, the name of a song Brown recorded with Buffett. "Tonight we're going to do something that even Jimmy would say is crazy," Brown said before announcing the audience gift.
many people that are listening to this podcast or watching it probably have never heard of Margaritaville at Sea. They've been around now probably 5 years, and they bought the old Paradise, the Bahamas Paradise that sailed out of West Palm Beach. They're now sailing out of Tampa, and they went from doing the 2-day booze cruise, which is what this is going to be, to a 3 and a 4 day. I think soon when that new ship comes out, it'll be a 7-day. So this looks great on paper. $40 million? No. They're 2-day cruises. The most you're going to get on Margaritaville at Sea is $200 a day per person. So if everybody went, it might have cost them $24 million, but not really. I mean, that would be the retail value if they sold it. See, I like to look at these stories, and you just glance over and you move on. But for me, it bothers me in a way that's not exactly truthful, but that's fine. You're getting a 2-day cruise. Now, it's a 2-day cruise on select departures. So you have to go when they tell you to go. You can't go when you want to go. You have to, like your wife, when the wife tells you, we're going to go when I tell you to go. This is like what the wife decided. So still, it's free. And all those people at the Zach Brown concert, they are people that would like Margaritaville at Sea. Zach Brown was a best friend of Jimmy Buffett, and Jimmy died way too young. He should have been, around. I mean, he went quick. I think my age, as a matter of fact. So anyway, this is an interesting story somewhat because, no one's ever done this before. It's a good way to fill a ship, to give everybody a free cruise. They do that all the time. When a new ship comes out, they bring out all the travel advisors. Never invite me because they know what's going to happen. They invite the travel advisors, the travel writers, anybody that might be anybody. So here, they're actually inviting people that might actually buy the cruise, which is, I think, pretty good. But it's not $40 million. That's all I'm telling you.
Guru, it is a special Tuesday.
No.
Here is a hotel big boss not whining for a change. Marriott International said Monday that its U.S.-Canada region had its best quarterly growth in more than 3 years. The company reported RevPAR growth of 5% in Q2, the U.S.-Canada region's biggest increase in 13 quarters. Marriott CEO Anthony Capuano said the region's strength was broad-based, with good performance in World Cup and non-World Cup markets, as well as across price segments. Excluding the World Cup, second quarter RevPAR rose 4%, Capuano said on the Q2 earnings call, later adding that the company saw the upside impact across chain scales, which was really encouraging. Luxury hotels led the way, with RevPAR jumping more than 9%, while leisure travel increased 7%, group business rose 4%, and business travel climbed 3%. Encouraged by the results, Marriott raised its full-year forecast and says strong demand continued into July, with momentum expected through the third quarter. Globally, results were mixed. Europe posted more than 4% growth, and the Caribbean remained strong thanks to luxury and leisure travel. The Middle East, however, saw a sharp 43% decline because of the ongoing conflict in the region.
All right, I know people are just finding this podcast for the first time. They didn't listen to me for 1,000 podcasts, but the people that have know, I really have a problem with the travel industry whining too much, especially the hotel industry. It's always doomsday and doomsday and doomsday. And this guy, Anthony, Big Tony Capuano, just as guilty. It was only a few months ago that he predicted it would be so bad because of the world situation, yada, yada, yada. And at the time I said, well, you know what? Maybe because of the world situation, they're going to stay home. Maybe you're going to do better. Maybe, the U.S. and Canada market, all right, the Canadians are mad. They're not coming here, but maybe they'll go somewhere in Canada. I wouldn't be surprised if you do a lot better than you say you're doing. But the travel of Asta and Clea, they're all doomsday. Instead of trying to uplift people, they're always complaining and whining. It's going to be terrible. This is the worst economy we've ever had. I can't believe how bad it is. And then you go to the airport, you can't find a parking space. You can't sit anywhere. Hotels are not, listen, he's doing well because he raised the prices and people are happy to pay it. And every time they raise the hotel prices, it's the greatest thing in the world for the cruise industry because the greatest vacation value is still the cruise industry. It really is. You go on a cruise, you cannot beat it. It's a turnkey operation. You're absolutely going to love it. Speaking of going on a cruise, here is the president of Best at Sea Tours.
Hi, everyone. It's Dottie from Best at Sea Tours, and I'd love to personally invite you to something very special. Over the course of my career in the cruise industry, I've been fortunate enough to celebrate New Year's Eve more than 25 times. And what I've learned is this: there's something truly magical about welcoming a new year at sea. There's a feeling you can't quite describe. The ocean all around, the stars above, music in the air, and laughter shared with friends. It's joyful, it's elegant, and it's filled with hope for the year ahead. And the best part? Everything is taken care of. No traffic, no dinner reservations to juggle, just time to relax, celebrate, and be fully present in the moment. Join Tom and me for a beautiful 11-day New Year's Eve cruise beginning December 30th, 2026 aboard the stunning Crystal Symphony. We'll sail round trip from Fort Lauderdale to sun-drenched Caribbean islands with sparkling blue waters, gentle sea breezes, warm smiles, and the kind of peaceful beaches that make you slow down and savor life. On New Year's Eve, we'll gather together, countdown as one, and welcome 2027 surrounded by friends. Because when you travel with Best at Sea, you're not just booking a cruise, you're joining a family. Come cruise, come celebrate, come make beautiful memories with us. For more information, please visit www.bestatseatours.com or call 866-723-7874 to reserve your spot. We look forward to celebrating New Year's Eve with you.
Well done, Dottie. We're out of here. If I can find the right button, there it is. Now, if you're one of the people that made the mistake of listening to the regular podcast and watching this, you'll see a difference, and it's intentional. The audio podcast will be more freewheeling and have more drops, sound effects, music, zaniness, craziness. This is going to be shortened up and full of information with quick commentary. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just trying to figure out the exact formula. I'm evolving, not as a man. I'm never going to do that, but I'm evolving.